everybody, and welcome back to Movie Files. Here on this channel, we love talking movies. We break down TV. We look at the latest trailers. We do unboxing videos for the new releases and also do giveaways to show our appreciation to you all. So if that sounds like something you enjoy, definitely hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with our latest content. So I am here to talk all things Shazam in a spoiler type of way. This is my spoiler review for Shazam. If you haven't seen the movie yet, stop this video, head over to our channel and look at our spoiler-free review of Shazam, but these are all the spoilers. When I do my reviews, you know, in some of the movies I touch on things. I do a really good job of not spoiling, but for the big superhero films, I always like to dive deep into the spoilers. I love comics. I love talking about things that I enjoy about the film more in depth. So definitely, if you've seen the movie, comment below. We can let all the spoilers out. Again, if you haven't seen this film, avoid the spoilers, close your eyes, watch our non-spoiler review, and then come back and watch this. So I'm just going to break down some of the things that really worked for me, really get into depth about the things that didn't work for me, talk about the landscape of the DC, as well as what we're going to get in the future, and not only in this Shazam universe, maybe potentially in the DC universe moving forward. So starting off top, I want to talk more in depth about the things I really enjoyed about this film. So the arc that we get with Billy Batson, played by Astro Angel, which is really well done. Again, when you can check out my review and see my score and all that stuff I talked about, but really the arc that we get, we see how he, so let me rewind a little bit. So I say, you know, I love comics, and I really haven't been that familiarized with Shazam. I've seen him in the cartoon, the animated series, where we get alternate universe and see him fighting Superman. I've seen all that stuff, but I really haven't dove deep into the comics, so a lot of this stuff is new to me. What we get in the movie, you know, we see that he loses his mom at a young age, not in the sense of death, but we see that they get lost in the shuffle, going to a carnival or a festival, wherever it was, but we see that he gets lost at a young age. You know, we see that, you know, for most of his childhood, he was looking for his mom. We see that he finds his mom later in the second act. And in my non-spoiler review, I touch on that performance by Mr. Astro Angel. And he just does a great job when he finally sees his mom and just breaks down and gives her the compass and says, I think you need to find your way. I just thought that whole story arc for Billy Batson, you know, again, we see the fun. He has a good time when he's played by Zachary Levi, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. But, you know, the actual Billy Batson character was just fleshed out really well, and I'm excited to see more of him. You know, hopefully, one thing about these movies where they have these kids at a certain age, you know, I think of Stranger Things, I think of, you know, other things like It, you know, when I see these kids, you know, a couple years later, they got to get up on it because these kids grow up really quickly. So if you want to keep the essence of Billy Batson, keep him as a young kid, you know, obviously, you know, I'm not familiar with the comics, but I wonder how they handle him becoming a 15, 16, 17-year-old and how that affects him. So it'll be interesting to see how they play with the young kid and his age. I'm not sure. I think he's like 13 or 14 in real life. So, you know, these kids grow up really quickly. So next time we see Shazam, he might look like a 17-year-old. So it'll be interesting to see if they have to recast his character. Whatever the case may be, you know, one of the things, like I said, that I wanted to touch on in this spoiler-free review is just to really pinpoint the details of the things I liked and didn't like. But the biggest thing was, you know, Astro Angel did a great job, and I really loved his character arc. And again, him looking for family throughout the film, and he ultimately finds it with this foster family, and ultimately in the Shazam family, we'll talk about here in a little bit. But he, you know, he confronts his mom and finds out that she never really wanted him and just didn't think she was you know, a good mother for him or a mother figure. And I really love that arc that we get with Billy. But also kind of touching on some other things I really enjoy. So another character arc that I really didn't expect in this film, and that was played, you know, Freddy, played by Jack Dylan Grazer, who, again, you can see my non-spoiler review, but I gave him praise. He is someone to keep an eye out for. This kid is great. The two movies I've seen him in, he demands the screen. He has the best moments. He's my favorite characters walking around in the movie, and that was the same thing with Shazam. You know, I love Zachary Levi, I love Astro Angel and all the supporting cast, but Jack Dylan Grazer stole the film for me. He was the audience, you know, he was the ones. We know what we see in these superhero movies. We know, you know, the tropes, and he kind of played on that in this film. I love that he's like, you know, he's a fan of Batman like I am. He has the, you know, the Batman memorabilia on his counter there. We see the cutouts of Wonder Woman, and also we see the cutouts of Superman, which again laid the groundwork for us DC fans of like wanting the connective universe that we get with other universes like the DC or the Marvel universe has done a great job of culminating these characters and getting them all in these films, and they tie into each other in some way. This is what DC's starting to do. They're not throwing it down our throat like they did 3 films into their universe when we get, or 4 films in, when we get a Justice League film after seeing a Superman movie, Batman vs. Superman, and now we get Justice League. It's like it wasn't earned, and also Wonder Woman, I forgot about that. Wonder Woman she came before Justice League, but it still felt rushed, you know? So I love that Shazam kind of took a step back. It acknowledged that we have Superman in this universe, which I'll talk about a little bit later. It acknowledges that we have a Batman. Who's the Batman in this universe? We don't know. It acknowledges Wonder Woman and also Aquaman. So I love that they did that. And also in the end of the credits, you see a little montage of the different characters in DC universe. And we see Flash, which we don't know where that's going. But I love that this film didn't have to place the idea of like, we're in this universe, so let's reference everything that we've seen in this previous film. No, they just give a little wink and a nod, you know, acknowledging that yes, this is in the same universe, but this is our universe that we're going to play into. So I really love that. But going back to Jack Dylan Grazer's character, Jack Dylan Grazer, I just love that he just had a story. You know, he's a kid with a disability that doesn't slow him down. You know, he knows that it's kind of a disability, and sometimes people don't look at him the way he wants to be looked at. But I love that ultimately, you know, he has the moment with Billy Batson and says, you know, yes, I want these powers. Why wouldn't I want these powers? I would use them, you know, and use them differently or whatever the case may be. I just love that we get that, and he gets his moment at the end, and I'm definitely going to talk about that because that was such an awesome moment to see the Shazam family, but also the people that played the Shazam family was awesome. But again, one of the highlights and things I took away, not only, like I said, Zachary Levi was great, Asher Angel was great, but Freddy's arc was just so good. I'm so glad they gave him that arc, and it just made the moments that we get at the end of the movie so much better and sit so much higher with me because we get those smaller moments and we get the character development, which makes the triumph and the happy moments so well done. And it was just a great script altogether. So I talked about the Foster family in my non-spoiler review, and I loved all the kids, Darla, you know, Mary, all the kids and the parents. But we also got the Shazam family. Now, like I said, I know the basics of Shazam, and I know he has this, you know, this family becomes, the kids in the family become, you know, Shazam type of characters. I'm not sure of their character's name in the comics, but I love that we get that. Again, I don't know how well it sit with you guys. Let me know in the comments below, but I was okay with that. I think maybe some people who might know the lore more than I do might say, you know, this might be a little bit jumping ahead of the gun or doing too much, but I thought it fit perfectly. I thought it was organic, and it kind of built to that for me. You know, seeing this Mary character who wants to go off to college, but she loves her family, seeing Darla, how much family means to her and the other kids. So I felt like that was earned in this movie. And I love that the people that play their adult selves were, you know, people I've seen before. The kid that's in 13 Reasons Why. We get Megan Good. We get some other characters I've seen. But there were two that stood out to me. Number one was I believe his name is DJ Corona, I believe his name is. But the funny thing about his character, who he plays the the older version of one of the Foster kids, and also Adam Brody, they were gonna be respectively in 2007 the Flash and Superman. They were gonna play those characters in the Justice League Immortal film by George Miller, and I love that they were able to come back into the DC universe 12 years later, or probably even more than that, because they probably had to do, you know, pre-production and being casted probably years before the movie was actually being put in production. So they have wanted to play superheroes so long in the DC universe, and now they have the opportunity to be introduced into Shazam. And I love that they both were able to play in the superhero universe and play superheroes. I thought that was so cool. But I love that we got the Shazam family. I can't wait to see how they implement them in future installments. If we ultimately do get a Justice League film in a proper manner, if they play a part in it, but I'd love to see what they do, you know, thinking ahead of time, but I'd love to see what they're going to do in the sequel with the Shazam family, because I thought that was such a cool moment. And again, seeing those two actors that were supposed to be in the DC universe in a Justice League film are now able to come back in this Shazam film. I thought that was awesome. Alrighty, so as I talked about in my review, which I wasn't able to dive deep into, but now I'm going to kind of get into the negatives. I enjoyed all the characters. I thought Mark Strong was great in this film. I thought he had a good time with the character, but I thought that, and we get a story with him. We see at the very beginning of the film, they let us know, you know, his dad and his brother's relationship, how they were going, where they were ever going during the holiday in 1974. You know, he meets the wizard, and we find out that he doesn't have a pure heart, and then he meets the seven sins, and you know, that kind of haunts him for the rest of his life, and he's trying to get back to that wizard and ultimately gain the power that he was looking for, but going in a darker matter. I love all that stuff, but I just didn't. It was a serviceable villain. Again, I thought it was nice that they gave him a backstory, but it just was. I have to say, I just was more interested in the superhero, which is the idea of these superhero movies. But I just thought that the villain was a little underplayed and just wasn't all that interesting to me. Just personally, Again, not being too familiar with the Shazam lore. I don't know if there are other villains besides the one I'm going to bring up a little bit later that I think is like his big bad villain, which is Black Adam. But, you know, playing this Silver character, I thought he was okay. But again, now getting into the spoilers aspect, I just thought that his story was just okay. I just wasn't that interested in it. But again, within that, you know, his backstory, we were introduced to the seven sins. And I mentioned in my spoiler review that the CGI wasn't all that great. That was the aspect of my review I was referring to. I don't know why the creatures' their mouths were not moving when they were talking. I don't know if they were just implying that they were speaking to Mark Strong's character, like teleporting to his mind, like talking in his mind. I don't know if that's why they weren't moving his mouths, but also just the movements of the creatures. When they were in the scene that we get in the office where he kills his brother and kills his dad, you know, they looked fine there, but as the movie moved on, they moved more in a fighting aspect. I thought the CGI was a little wonky, but other than that, those were the negatives that I talked about in my spoiler review. That I didn't really get into detail that I want to talk about a little bit here. But wrapping up this video, some other things, you know, in the greater landscape of the DC universe. Again, we get a nod to Wonder Woman, Batman, but then the moment that was rumored to happen, which is the whole Henry Cavill and wanting more money, and is he going to pop up in Shazam? It was mentioned months ago, maybe in a year ago, that he was going to play a role in Shazam, and it was brought up that DC, the way they made the scene was, if they figured everything out with Henry Cavill, we were going to see him in the movie. If they didn't, we were just going to see him from the neck down. And that's what we got in the film, which kind of, it didn't affect the score for me as far as my ultimate enjoyment of the film, but it did kind of hurt my DC heart and my Henry Cavill heart because I'm a huge Henry Cavill fan. Him as Clark Kent and Superman, I just love him as Superman, and I just really want to see him in the movie because then it just kind of maybe put all the rumors to rest, but they just get the neck down. It was cool to see the Superman cameo because, again, not being too familiar with Shazam, but I know that Shazam looks up to Superman, and that's who he admires to be. So it just would have been nice to see Henry Cavill's face on the big screen. But I don't know, that might be the nail in the coffin that we might not ever see him again. You know, rumors that Ezra Miller is not hitting it off well with the DC and wants to write his own script. The Cyborg movie's been thrown out. We all know about Ben Affleck. So right now, the two remaining characters that have been established in this universe are Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, who I love, and you know, Jason Momoa as Aquaman. And now we have a new one with Shazam, but it would have just been so cool if we would have got that Superman cameo by Henry Cavill, and also kind of playing into that. I was just waiting for that moment because they built it when they said that, hey, can you come in the lunchroom and, you know, show yourself to my friends? And, you know, I just knew that's going to be the moment where they're going to bring in Superman if they ever bring it up in the movie. They did at the, you know, closer in the film. So I love that, but it just would have been nice to see Henry Cavill. But we also get a Black Adam reference. Now, it's a part in the movie where the wizard is telling Billy Batson why he wants a pure heart, why he wants someone with good intentions, is because many thousands upon years ago, he gave his power to someone else, and it's referenced that this someone else destroyed civilizations and killed a bunch of people. I'm pretty sure that's Black Adam, who is been casted for maybe 10 years now, and is going to be played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the Dwayne "Rock" Johnson, which is one of my favorite people on earth. But I love that we get that Easter egg, and I know, like I had mentioned, Dr. Savannah was someone that, you know, again, I don't know his ranking in the Shazam lore, where he ranks as far as his best enemies, but I know Black Adam is like the Batman's Joker, or Lex Luthor to Superman. So it'll be, I love that we got that Easter and that kind of nod to hopefully that we'll get Black Adam one of these days, because apparently they were going to do Black Adam first and then Shazam, and then maybe have Black Adam in this movie, have Black Adam in Suicide Squad, have his own solo movie. So hopefully we figure all that out, because I would love to see The Rock playing Black Adam going against Zachary Levi in a potential sequel later down the road. So all in all, those are the things that I really want to touch on the spoiler aspect of this movie Shazam, which again, you can see my full review. I gave it a 4.6 out of 5. I think that score is going to go up after multiple viewings. I really enjoyed this film. It's full of heart, family, friendship, fun. It's a great time. I definitely had a ball with this movie. But again, I want to make this video just to get all the spoilers out and comment with you guys, interact with you guys. So let me know in the comments all the spoilers you pointed out, the Easter eggs that I maybe missed, your favorite parts of the film, the things you didn't like, and you can get into depth with it, because this is a spoiler review. So definitely comment below. As always, thank you guys for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, follow us on all of our social media accounts. Keep an eye out for some more videos coming up pretty soon. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.